I don't know what to say about what I just experienced. I felt like death was looking me straight in the eye. The thing that I just saw had actually happened sends me into a small panic attack. 2 nights ago, around 3 a.m., I decided to jump on TF2 for a little bit. My friend had a shift from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. 2 days. And we were getting used to staying up late and sleeping all day so he wouldn't be as tired for a shift. We were not in the same house, however, simply talking over Skype. I loaded up TF2 as normal while my friend was playing League of Legends. I hopped on the server list and found that my TF2 trade server was empty. I didn't think much of it as it is 3 a.m. after all, but usually there is 1 to 4 players on around that time, and most of the time it is the same people, so I began searching the server list for a server to play on, finding no Australian servers that had players on it. I decided to jump on an American Valve server. I played for a while on the Upward server. Nothing special was happening. All the players were new to the game and had no cosmetics. There were easy targets for sniping, heavy staying still, spies were uncloaking in front of me, scouts seemed to ignore me completely. I got bored quickly and began another search for a server. About 6 minutes after I joined, however this time, my server had a player on it. I looked at the server info to see what his name was. I thought it may be one of the admins testing his most recent map. A player by the name ... was on it. This is not a player I had seen before on my server, so I decided to hop on and greet him. He was sitting in spectator mode as I joined, so the server started its countdown before beginning the match. I spoke over the mic and said, "Hey there," attempting to see if he is able to speak English. I got no reply from him, which indicated he may be AFK, so I stopped trying to communicate with him. I began to fly around my map, bored and not knowing what to do. The map was pleasing to the eye to look at, and the detail was magnificent. I flew around the spawns and looked at all the detail and thought about all the skill that had to be put into making it. I grew bored quickly, not having anyone to shoot at getting to me. I need to kill something, so I began spawning in bots. The bots just sat there after I spawned them in, so I had to run a nav generate command to create a path for the bot to run on. This involved restarting the server. I figured it wouldn't bother the player that is AFK, so I went ahead and ran a restart. The server reloaded, and all was well. I spawned into some bots and began to shoot. I directed my eyes to the green text that had appeared in chat to notice that the player called ... had rejoined the game. This time, he joined the enemy team. I figured he was back from being AFK, so I greeted him in chat. Here is the chat log. I copied what I could before I left the server. "Hello, you there? I could see you moving in spawn. They feel all pain." Immediately after I finished reading the player's message, he rejoined spectator. Confused and wanting to know more, I attempted to talk to him again, asking him what they meant by the message. I got no reply and decided to not dig deeper into the meaning. A few minutes passed and nothing had happened. I continued to play the game normally and kill any bot I saw. I received damage and ran to the bottom spawn entrance to retreat for some health. When a spy uncloaked blocking my path. My reaction was to run at him with my tribal mint shiv and try to get around him, but as I did so, he crouched and tried to appear friendly. This is not normal in a TF2 bot. They are scripted to attack anyone they see. A few seconds pass and the spy does nothing. Confused and not knowing what to do, I stand there. I decided to use the high five taunt to see how the spy would respond. Amazingly, the spy replies by activating the taunt. This may be because the bots are scripted to taunt when taunted at, but I thought that was only with bots on the same team. We high five, and I was killed by another bot. As I respawned, I looked at the scoreboard again to see if any player had joined without me knowing, but all players in the game were bots, all but one. However, that ... player was still in spectator. Had I confused him for an enemy bot, then as I died, he changed back to spectator, Upon respawning, I decided to change the soldier. I used my rocket jumper and hurl myself to the enemy base. I missed my first marked guard and strike on a sniper and make my escape. Reaching the top of the map, I look down to see where my next target will be. I see a sniper over by the right of the map. As I shoot myself towards him, a millisecond before I hit him, he changes direction, kills me with a headshot. The soldier bursts into a death scream louder I have heard in TF2 before. This kind of scream sounded more real, as if he had actually felt the bullet running through his head. I figured maybe my sound was turned up too much, so I turned the volume to 50%, and I continued to play. After a few minutes played as a sniper, I received a dolly shot from the enemy sniper, reacted by running to a health pack to the right. But once I got there, I thought of something I didn't notice when I first got shot. The sniper said something that I have never heard before. He said, "My arm!" in a pained voice. The voice was toned down, and I barely heard it over the sound of all the action happening around me. But it was clearly there. I stood there as I thought of what I may have heard to give off a sound similar to what he said. Hoping my mind was playing a trick on me, I was killed by an enemy spy. Whilst doing so, and I heard another word as the sniper hit the floor. He asked me, "Why?" Was this character asking me why I let him die? I do have control over the player, but I am starting to feel as though the players have a mind of their own, and can actually feel what happens to them. I became fearful to go out of spawn doors, as I didn't want my beliefs to be true. I decided it would be best to remove all the bots from the server to prevent myself from thinking too much about what I was beginning to believe. However, this command wouldn't work. I was receiving a could not connect to server error when running any recon command. The bots were stuck on the server, and there was no way to remove them without editing server files. I opened FileZilla to access said files to see what could be done, but again, I found myself unable to connect to the server. I became more confused than I previously was at this point. I was still able to play on the server, however no device could connect to any administrative functions. It was as though my title ad had been removed. I noticed in chat that the player ... had disconnected from the game. I have a plugin that displaces their Steam ID and an IP address. In chat, why were they blank? I asked myself. I attempted to go into my recent playwith list on my profile and access his Steam ID from there. However, there was no player by the name ... in the list. I became confused and thought to myself that maybe this player was actually a bot to begin with, but that wouldn't explain why he was able to type in chat. I attempted to leave the game by clicking disconnect. That's when it happened. The one moment that made me decide never to play TF2 ever again. As I clicked disconnect button, the game froze. It took 1.5 minutes for it to load, but eventually it came to the main menu. However, this main menu was different. Instead of the traditional background, it was a picture of all the TF2 classes laying in a pile dead. The music was playing backwards, and there was a faint static on the screen. I even noticed that the window text displaying the name of the game had changed from Team Fortress 2 to Dead Controls. Was this a new game? I actually discovered a hidden message within TF2. I clicked the play button and found no servers, so I decided to load up a map that I had in my maps folder and added in 11 bots to play with. I spawned in as a sniper and looked around. All my team looked normal. However, there was still an eerie feeling in the game. The counter went down and the match began. I ran out and immediately died. These bots are on hard difficulty. However, I was sure I set it to easy. A chat message appeared in the bottom of the screen saying, "Please stop killing us." This shocked me, as it was apparently said by me. It said I was talking without me even typing. I spawned in and ran straight into the battle. However, as a heavy this time, I reached the front lines and my character turned around. I didn't know what was happening. Was I being controlled by nothing? I tried to turn back around, but my mouse didn't work. Nor did my controls. I tried all I could to force my heavy to turn around when I saw another message. Why are you trying to kill me? Your controls are now dead, and so will you be. Soon. Again, apparently said by me. I was freaking out. Not once have I had a game directly tell me that I will die. This was too creepy for me to continue to play. One more message was sent in chat before my game crashed. I won't let you kill us anymore. My game went unresponsive, and eventually closed. I decided that on that day, I would never play Team Fortress 2 again. I have since then closed my server, and wish to never mention my experience again.